Okay, welcome to today's session. I hope you all are preparing relentlessly for the exams. Okay, to begin, we are going to, in the last lesson, we spoke about idiomatic expressions. So we still have some topics, some questions that we have not attempted. So it's important we attempt everything like adequately. That way you can really understand the question types and you can answer them appropriately in the exam. Yeah, within 30 seconds, I believe you should be able to do that. In the previous lesson, I told you that idiomatic expressions, like, yeah, there are types of expressions that usually showcase the meaning. Like, whenever you have a test, a question, you shouldn't focus on the test. You should focus on the in-depth meaning as a whole. That's the context of what you're looking for. I told the examiners in top schools like they want to check your reading skills because most students just look at, they have some people in the waiting room. Okay. So most students just pay attention to the question. They just read the questions and answer them like without really looking at the context of the meaning. So if you do that, yeah, that can make you lose marks in the exam. So it's always important to pay attention to the meaning like it, as a whole. You read the test as a whole and answer them appropriately. So the examiner wants to check your reading skills. They want to check your reading skills. They want to check your panic level because when students sees that possibly they are running out of time in the exam, they always become tensed and pressured. So that way they can answer, give the wrong answers. So those are the things that they also want to check your critical thinking. So after the lesson, many students drop some idioms and they explain the meaning. So that way I believe that you understand them. Do you understand the topic? Yeah, I told you that when you want to do idioms, like you block out the words, like you should look at the block out the literal meaning. For example, when you have something like objects, please don't look for answers related to objects. Yeah, just try to pay attention to the meaning or the context that is presented to you. Another one is to toss, yeah, I told you you should toss literal meanings of them and match them with the context. Okay, so we explained that it covers 5 areas, which is one is the special talents, the one that's explained like when you have something like have a way
When you
with
have something like
something. Why is it we are going? Come, have a way with something. So the natural meaning for that is to have natural talents or affinity for something. Exam trap, you can have, um, you can have something directing traffic or pointing along. Yeah, this is the literal meaning. So you shouldn't pick this. Yeah, pick the in-depth meaning, which is the real meaning. When they say bury the hatchet's in-depth meaning means you should end a fight and become friends again with someone. When they tell you to bury the hatches with your friend or with your colleague or with your peer group, yeah, they're telling you that you should become friend again with that person. Another one is to pull up your socks. Pull up your socks is just a form of hard work. That is, you should work or study harder to improve yourself. So whenever you see something like pull up your socks, it's not telling you to bend down to fix your actual footwear. It's explaining that you should like become more serious with your life. You should work harder or study harder. Okay, another one is the one that explains money budget, tighten your belt. I think this one is commonly used in day-to-day life context. So it means spend less money because times are tough. The last one is absolute truth. When something is a fact, it's generally true. Like something like eat nail on the head, eat nail on the head. It say or do the exact correct thing. Yeah, when they tell you to eat nail on the head, that it means you should do the exact correct thing. So there are still more idioms that is important that you can come across in your exam. Another something the ones related to talent and connection. Sandra has a way with animal. Sandra has a way with animal. So you should ignore the literal meaning. I told you you should pay attention to the whole context, the contextual meaning. So when they say Sandra has a way with animal. It means she always have a good rapport with animal. She relates naturally well with animal. That's the one that explains the affinity. Have a way with means you are exceptionally good at handling or connecting with something naturally. Yeah. So can you tell me what you have a way with in your day-to-day life? Just like Sandra, what do you have a way with in your life? Can you send it to me on the chat box? Just mention the thing. It can be an object, it can be an animal, it can be a personality, anything. So what do you literally have a way with? That shouldn't take much of our time. I'm waiting for your response. That way I can be assured that we are on the same pace. What do you have a way with? What do you have a way with? No one is answering. Why? I won't continue until you answer me. Tell me what you have a way with. Okay, good. Coming. Babies, yeah, good. Someone said I didn't get the question. Is an idiomatic expression, just like Sandra. Children, thank you, Ademola. Okay, let me just try to explain it to Akim Pelumi. Akile Pelumi, we are talking about idioms now. Idioms are like they are words that always have another meaning to what is given in the text. They always have a contextual meaning. So, for example, when they say someone kicks the bucket, so it means the person is dead. They are just like proverbs in your native language. Yeah, thank you. She said, I also have a way with children. So, as you can see, Akepelumi, I'm trying to admit this person. Okay, finally. Yeah, as you can see, Akepelumi, from this question, they said Sandra has a way with animals. Sandra is a subject now. Sandra is the subject, has a way with animal. Has a way with animal doesn't, yeah, if you look at this, you might interpret it literally that, oh, has a way with maybe um Sandra, you can just shows the exact part of animals travel. Yeah, shows knows the exact parts animals travel on. Yeah, this is just the literal meaning. But idiomatic expression wants you to relate it to the like in-depth meaning. Yeah, it doesn't mean like the literal, it doesn't have the same meaning with the literal meaning of the text. You all should always focus on the contextual meaning. So in this case now, Sandra has a way with animals. That means Sandra is really fond, she's fond of animal. She has a good rapport, a good relationship with animals. So that was why I asked you to tell me what you have a way with, like what you are really fond of, what you have a good rapport or a good relationship with. And some students said children, some even said pets. So you, Akekpelumi, you can drop it on the chat box what you have a way with. I believe I have answered your question. So just tell me, the meaning is, you should tell me what you are fond of or what you are exceptionally good at. Okay. Oh, babies. Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. Okay. Knitting. Wow, that's a very good thing. Okay. Let's move on. So the next one is, okay, this is related to talent and connection. The next one is ending conflicts. Yeah, bury the hatches. When they say bury the hatches, that is you should try to put the conflict aside. You should, after years of rivalry, the friend decided to bury the hatches. They decide to put everything aside, or so decide to put all their worries, all their conflicts aside and move on. So they decided to end their conflict. Okay, so look at these options. Hiding sharp axis safely on the ground. This is the literal meaning, but it is wrong because idiomatic expression, they want to check your knowledge about the in-depth meaning. Yeah, stopping hostilities and making peace. Yeah, this is the correct answer. Idioms comes from historical peace treaties where leaders buried real weapons as a promise to stop fighting. Yeah. That's where it's come from. The next one is launching and progress. Okay, look at this question now. Got off the ground. The new project finally got off the ground last week. Got off the, it means what? Disregard anything about planes, aviation jump. Okay, you should disregard that. Okay. Get off the ground is used for projects or business ideas that start moving forward successfully. Let me try to off mute all the participants. Mic. Sorry, I'm coming. Okay, so when you say something like got off the ground, it means it's used for projects or business ideas that start moving forward successfully. So commencing operations and making real progress is the one that is the right answer. Yeah, disregard the literal meaning flying up inside a helicopter or space rocket. No. Escaping from a deep pit of the flood. No, no, no. This should even give you an inspo that these are wrong because it's trying to depict the literal meaning. Yeah, you should go for the in-depth meaning, which is what commencing operations and making real progress. Yeah, because I told you it's regarded to like commencing something or commencing a project and making like moving forward successfully, making a progress. The next one is controlling speech. Bite my tongue. When they say bite, okay, look at this question. I wanted to insult him back, but I decided to bite my tongue. Okay, you should reject option explaining tooth pain, chewing food fast, biological speech, or injuries. Okay, these idioms explain what body parts. Idioms about body parts often relate to managing your reactions or controlling your what emotions. Yeah, that you shouldn't be emotional. You should just try to control your rage. Bite your tongue. Okay, look at this. Chewing on food with dangerous speed. Yeah, this is wrong. Hurting your mouth while trying to talk. Wrong. You can see this are just trying to relate it to the literal meaning. So which obviously like showcase that they are wrong answers. Yeah. But deliberately remaining quiet to avoid trouble. Yeah, that's a good one for this question. So which is the right answer? I believe you understand. If you have any question, kindly drop it on the chat box. If you understand, you can show a reaction. How about others? Can you show a reaction? If you understand, if you don't, you can drop the question on the chat box. No one is showing reactions. Okay, I want us to quickly wrap this up. Still have more questions. Okay, the one related to better efforts, like pull up his socks, that's hard work. Okay, sentence with post-UTME starting with this in 3 weeks. Emeka must pull up his socks. Let me repeat. Um, Sentence with post-UTME starting in 3 weeks. Emeka must pull up his socks. So you should avoid anything related to answers related to clothing items, socks, shoes, or sport outfits. Yeah, these are examiner's tricks. So what you should pay attention to is the in-depth meaning, the contextual meaning as a whole. So in this case now you are not dropping out any, you're just looking at the contextual meaning as a whole. Okay, so you should match it with, yeah, B, working much harder and improving his studies. Yeah, this one is related to hard work. This getting his sports uniform ready for a game. This is a literal meaning, purchases brand new clothing for class. It's literal meaning, but this is the most suitable because it means you need to put in more effort to fix a bad or lazy situation. That's the meaning of pull up your socks or pull off his socks. The next one is useless searches. Okay, wild goose chase. Wow. Wild goose chase means that you're doing something that you're just wasting time for searching something that is not worthwhile. Okay, look at this. Looking for my lost key in the massive field was a wild goose chase because you're not going to find it. When you chase goose, like you find it difficult to catch up with them. So when they say wild goose chase is something that is used when you're wasting time for looking for something that cannot possibly be found. So you should avoid something related to hunting, animals reserve, birds, goose egg, or physical trick, eliminate them immediately. Okay, look at this. Hunting down fast birds in the open. This is wrong because it's the literal meaning. Playing a competitive run game with classmates is also wrong. But this one is the one that explains in-depthly the in-depth meaning, a hopeless, foolish, or useless search, just wasting one's time. Another one, avoiding the main point, beating around the bush. Yeah. There are some people that are very good at this, avoiding the main points. That is, they are very good at beating around the bush. Yeah, when you try to like ask them about their opinion about something, they will try to navigate you and try to avoid the main point. They can even change the question for you and give you something that is suitable for their own context or belief. Yeah. So that's the mean. Stop beating around the bush and tell me what you really want. Okay, so please ignore bushes, forest, physical stick, or garden walk. Okay, look at this option, trimming green shrubs in the compound yards. Yeah, please avoid this. It's wrong. Cleaning up a dusty room with broomstick. Wrong. Avoiding the main topic and talking indirectly. Yeah, this is the most suitable for beating around the bush. Okay. So it refers to like talkative people who keep wasting your time instead of telling you the exact truth immediately. The next one is total surprise out of the blue. Out of the blue, my old high school friend called me out of the blue yesterday. Okay. Out of the blue means something happened as a total surprise, like a sudden strike of lightning. Please don't fall for options that mention clouds, blue skies, color matching, or atmosphere. It's wrong. I always tell you should cancel or eliminate the literal meaning. You should focus on the contextual meaning of the question or the sentence. Okay. Look at this first option, falling down from a clear blue sky environment. Yeah, this is really wrong. Swimming deep under dark ocean water. Wrong. But the correct answer is what completely unexpectedly. Yeah, because out of the moon is something that meets you by surprise without any warning. Yeah, like a sudden strike of lightning. The next one is what? The one related to courage and danger. Take the bull by the horn. It's you need a lot of courage to take the bull by the horns. Okay, look at this sentence. Instead of running away from your fears, take the bull by the horns. When you hear take the bull by the horns, it's about being proactive. Yeah, you should be proactive. You should be brave in dealing with problems immediately. You should be prompt. Yeah, you should be at alert, be proactive in dealing with problems. Should be courageous in dealing with problems instantly, not you being conservative. Okay, should please try to avoid animal options, farm options, hunts, cattle, or physical wrestling, fighting cows, or taming wild farm animals. Please avoid that. Showing off your physical strength to friends, please avoid that. Yeah, you want to see the one that is like telling you to be courageous, be brave, be proactive. Okay, look at this option. Facing a difficult challenge directly with courage. Yeah, this is the most suitable for this answer question. And the last question that we're going to look at today on idiomatic expression is the one related to financial hardship. Okay, tighten our belts. Okay, look at this sentence. Inflation is rising, so our family must tighten our belts. So please ignore the ones related to leather belts, physical traps, waistlines, or stomach pressure. You should pay attention to the in-depth meaning. So when they say tighten your breath, it means times are tough, so you have to stop wasting resources and save more money. Yeah, should save more money. That's the meaning of what tighten your belt. You should manage your resources and save for the future. Okay, let's pay attention to the options. Squeezing physical leather straps around your waist, very wrong. That's the literal meaning, and we are not going for the literal meaning because that's where the examiner wants to strap you. Fasting for spiritual reason during the day, wrong. Spending less money and cutting down costs, yeah, this is correct because it's related to you managing your resources. So this is the most correct. Okay, I think we still have one more, which is the one related to extreme accuracy. It's the nail on the head. It's the nail on the end. It means to pinpoint accuracy. You found the exact correct truth or answer, the correct truth or answer. It's the nail. You hit the nail on the head when you identify a problem, saying or doing the exact correct thing. Avoid hammering down metal spikes with precise hits, injuring your hand while building furniture. Please avoid that. So I believe you should be able to answer all these kinds of questions when you see them. Look at this one. Pulling your leg, that's joking with someone or telling a friendly lie just for fun. Please avoid physical touch traps. Another one is keeping your chin up. Mm. When you keep your chin up, it means that you're staying happy, positive, and hopeful in bad situation. Yeah, you don't want to get distracted about whatever challenges or whatever bad situations or scenario you are going through. You want to stay positive. You want to be alive, be motivated, be inspired. Okay, the third one is smell a rat, meaning suspecting something is fishy. You can see it in all these series or Nollywood drama. Sometimes they usually use this expression. Yeah, some would say, I can smell a rat. So the literal meaning is suspecting that something dishonest or wrong is going on. Avoid mouse or smell traps. Please avoid that. Another one is to what? Stir up a hornet's nest, intentionally causing big trouble or starting arguments. Avoid forest or insect traps. White elephant, whenever you hear white elephant, something very expensive. Yeah, for example, the car I got yesterday is a white elephant. That is, the car is very expensive, but totally used. Okay. Something very expensive, but totally useless and hard to keep. So you can look for something that you believe that is very expensive, but totally useless. Okay. See eye to eye. We still have more. See eye to agree completely with someone or a topic. My partner and I don't see eye to eye on politics. That is, they don't agree. They don't have they don't have the same perception or the same opinion on politics matter. Look closely. Please avoid looking closely into someone's eyes. Please avoid that. I know some lazy students would pick this because when they just read the text, they will just pick the literal meaning without paying attention to the contextual meaning. Eat humble pie. Eat humble pie. Admit that you were completely wrong and say sorry. After losing the belt, he had to eat humble pie. Please avoid anything related to eating food, junk food, pies at a restaurant. Yeah, when they say eat humble pie, yeah, you just want to admit that you are completely wrong and just say sorry. Pay through the nose. Paying an extremely high or unfair amount of money. That's the meaning of paying through the nose. We had to pay through the nose to buy that rare book. Decoy, bleeding, or physical nose operation. Let sleeping dog lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Leaving a situation alone to avoid starting old arguments. Don't bring up past failure. Let sleeping what dog lies. Avoid starting old arguments. Some people likes arguing. Yeah. So it's not for them. Yeah, they can just let sleeping dogs lie. Let's just leave what have happened in the past and pay attention to the future. Decoy from anything related to pets, dogs, or physical sleeping states. So the secret shortcut pattern categories, the five basic pattern mark animals usually stand for human behavior, instinct, or luck. For example, good chase, smell a rat. Yeah, this is just a secret strategy that you can also use to avoid memorizing a whole lot because sometimes you can come across some idioms that you've not heard before, but you should be able to like depict the meaning if you can apply these strategies. Now, whenever you see some related to animals, it mostly explains behavior, human behaviors or instincts. So example, when you see goose chase, normally when you chase a goose, it's difficult for you to catch up with the goose. So you should know that it's just like something that is a waste of time. Another one is smell a rat. Yeah. So you should know that whenever you smell a rat, good chase, anything related to animals, yeah, it's talking about what the human behavior, human instinct or luck. Body parts usually show emotional, self-control, focus, or fear. For example, bite tongue, keep chin up, be at alert. Yeah, being proactive. Okay. Money, clothes. Whenever you see some related to money, clothes, yeah, it shows what financial hardship. It could be hardship. It could be limits. It could be preparation. For example, tighten your belt, pay through the nose, or pay through nose. Movement, this is the one that translates to making progress or starting up. So when you see anyone related to movement, yeah, you should know that the meaning should will be related to anything related to making progress or starting up something. And the last one is conflict and peace. Whenever you see something like, okay, something related to conflict and peace, it shows what fights, treaties, settling down. So I believe with all these strategies, you should be able to answer the questions correctly whenever you find them. Okay. Here is a practice question. You finally what broke the ice. Whenever you hear break the ice or broke the ice, yeah, it's related to like starting a friendly conversations in a quiet room. Another one is the plan fell through. The plan what fell through. The call dropped from a shelf through physical. Oh no. The real vibe here is the plan fell through, failed completely, or collapsed without working. To pass the excellence score, memorize this fast emotional equivalent. She is in a cloud nine, filled with what? Massive happiness. Spill the beans, accidentally what? Telling secrets. Cause an arm and a leg. That is, this is super expensive because you can say like the modern Modern jets costs an arm and a leg. That is, the jets is what? Super expensive. So, how to study idioms at home, please ask, is it literal? When it's literal is the one that goes, when the answers, like the answer goes the same way with the test. Whenever you read an expression, ask, can a human being actually do the physically? If the answer is no, then it is an idiom. To explain the why, don't trust your memorize. Try to explain to your friends why the physical trick is wrong. Teaching others make it stick in your brain. Possibly in future lessons, sometimes we can have some excess activities during the lesson whereby I would I will group you into different groups, like in breakout rooms. Yeah, you go to different breakout rooms and you can practice what is being taught. Yeah, activate your learning. I think that is also a very good strategy. So the third one is group by emotion. When writing down new idioms, group them by emotional tags like is it happy, angry, or hard work. It makes you recall 10 times faster. So I believe with this, you should be able to succeed in your exam. Like success in your exam doesn't comes from luck, it comes from smart strategy, focus, and knowing how to beat the examiner's trick because it's very tricky. Yeah. In the next lesson, we're going to do Concord. Concord in Igwe. Concord literally means the subject and the verb should agree. So that's what we are going to do. That's the verb and the subject agreement. Yeah, whenever you have the single verb, you should go with singular subject, vice versa, plural verb, plural subject. That's what we are going to delve deep. So after the lesson, I'm going to send the practice question to you on the WhatsApp group because we just have few seconds to go. And if you have any questions, you can also forward them. Any questions, you can forward them to me on the chat group. Thank you very much for attending today's lesson. It's my pleasure having you. If you enjoyed today's lesson, kindly show a reaction. Oh, thank you.